What up, what up, what up? What's going on, America? And welcome to a new episode of the Dear America podcast.
Woo!
How was y'all's weekend?
Good.
Busy, but it was good.
Uneventful, but...
Yeah. I feel like every weekend I do more stuff than you're supposed to do on weekends. And I feel, because I always roll into the weekends like, oh, man, yes, I can just stop for
do
a
nothing.
second. Yeah. And then I do the opposite of that. And I do probably even more things than I do normally. And then I roll into Monday and I am just tired. We just found out that Bearfac has saved another life. That's 13 lives and counting. Research found the average EMS response time was 37 minutes. In an emergency, time is critical. For example, an arterial bleed can kill someone in just 90 seconds. That's why I recommend every American have a Bearfac from Refuge Medical in their home, car, or RV. I have it along with a body armor vest and an AR-15 in the back of my truck.
So you're ready.
I'm ready. If freaking zombies come out tomorrow, I am ready to at least make it home. All right. Anyway, look, guys, a cat tourniquet is something everyone should have. I know it sounds weird, but military, man, I had 2 or 3 on me at all times. It is truly a lifesaver. And you don't know that you need this kind of stuff until you get it. It's literally like 8 inches long. It's not big. You can put it anywhere in your car, and it could be the difference between life and death. So go to refugemedical.com and get 15% off all their first aid kits with the promo code GRAHAM. If we've learned one thing this year, it's to be prepared for anything. Oh, also, if you use any of the things in the pack to save a life, they'll replace those parts absolutely for free.
Ooh,
so
cool.
Go to refugemedical.com. That's refugemedical.com, promo code Graham. I'm tired. I was having some conversations with some people, and I think once you get like into your 30s, and I'm almost mid-30s now, and I just don't think you're not tired. Like ever. There's just different levels of how tired you are.
Yeah.
There's never a day, no matter how excited I am, I get up and I go, I don't feel tired today.
How much sleep are you getting?
Not a lot. I don't sleep a lot.
Well, there you go.
I don't. Well,
that's probably the problem.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible, man.
Do you try and take anything at night before you go to bed? Like melatonin or anything?
Oh, no. I don't have any problems going to sleep. That's not the problem.
You just don't feel rested.
No, the problem is the time frame that I have to sleep is like 5-6 hours. It's not like that's it. And so no, I have no issues going to bed. But I wake up feeling older than I did. I'm at the age now that every day, I know technically every day we're all getting older. Mm-hmm. But every day I feel it now. Like, right. Oh, I am older today than I was yesterday.
It's like Tom Segura, the comedian. He's like, every morning I wake up and say, how many days are there? We all have like a rope of days. And I feel like, oh, wow, I'm closer today than I was yesterday to the end. Yeah.
And so anyway, okay. But speaking of the world ending, the New York Post has come back out again. And what's funny to me is that this came out yesterday at lunchtime. New York Post reports nobody's talking about it. Upcoming Pentagon report will detail in even further detail difficult to explain UFO sightings. Hold on, this is real stuff, okay? And everybody's kind of like giggling. They're like, wow, Graham, that's kind of lame. They're talking about UFOs. Mm-hmm. And nobody cares. They're like, okay, sure, why not? Let's see. A forthcoming government report will reveal evidence of UFOs breaking the sound barrier with a sonic boom and other difficult to explain phenomena, the director of national intelligence says. There are a lot more sightings that have been made public. Some of those have been declassified. And when we talk about sightings, we are talking about objects that have been seen by Navy or Air Force pilots or have been picked up by satellite imagery that frankly engage in actions that are difficult to explain, movements that are hard to replicate that we don't have the technology for, or traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom. Let's see. And then there's others. Sometimes we wonder whether or not our adversaries have technologies that are a bit further down the road than we thought or than we realized. But these are instances where we don't have good explanations for some of the things that we have seen. Nobody's talking about this.
I'm glad. I'm glad nobody is.
Well, here's
you know why? Because as soon as Biden falls down the stairs, they say, get rid of the UFO story. Tell everybody about the UFO story. No, he just fell 3 times down a flight of stairs.
Again.
Don't want to hear about aliens.
But if there's aliens, who cares if Biden fell down the stairs?
Convenient time,
UFOs are rare, but the rare event for this week is we're having a presidential press conference.
Ooh,
yeah, there you go. Nice.
You got to start pushing the button for yourself there, Zach.
There
you go.
The crowd goes wild.
Yeah, so Biden still has 3 full days to prepare for his press conference.
He's going to need all of them.
How much you want to bet he does the press conference and he takes no questions? The press conference is just going to be him speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do like a Facebook Live where we're like commentating on
from a telepress? I want to get by the stuff we need to be able to do like a Mystery Science Theater version to where people see the feed, but they see like our shadows in the corner. And all you can hear is us commentating over that.
One of the best things I saw the other day was Biden fell because the previous administration didn't repair all the stairs.
I like how you both are just going over this aliens thing. I really don't feel like...
Well, I've known for the longest time. This isn't news to me.
But it's like, this is one of those questions that for my entire life, people have been camping in RVs with antennas, like trying to figure this stuff out. And all of a sudden the DOD is finally like, oh yeah, they're real. We just didn't tell you about it. Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. Literally, I just watched a Netflix comedy special the other night, and he was talking about this, about the last report, and nobody cared. And now they're talking about even more, and these other ones they're fixing to show you defy like all rational understanding of movement. And we're just sitting here going,
whatever.
Okay.
Well, it's like if Jesus came back right now, nobody believed that.
Oh, well, nobody believed it the first time. But either way, okay, I get fine. I guess you guys don't care about the alien thing.
I'm super intrigued. Like,
I guess we'll move on.
Well, when did you say the information's released?
It just says upcoming Pentagon reports.
The last time this happened, it was 4-year-old footage, and they were like, "Oh, look, aliens are real." Okay.
The other links say Baker Mayfield and his wife are so confused after alleged UFO sighting.
We need to read this, please.
But now, okay, I'm going to click on it. But now we don't read that and go, man, these people are psychopaths. Now we're like, well, apparently they really saw it.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we just fall
I love the caption. The caption says Baker Mayfield and wife Emily Wilkinson. Why she doesn't have the same name is interesting. But anyway, almost 100% saw a UFO.
Almost.
That's what
So
it
99.
says. Baker Mayfield's offseason is out of this world. On Wednesday, the Cleveland Browns quarterback claimed he and wife Emily Wilkinson, again, why is it not Mayfield? Anyway, all right, witnessed a real-life UFO whilst driving home from dinner. Almost 100%. Em and I just saw a UFO drop straight out of the sky on our way home from dinner. We stopped and looked at each other and asked if either of us saw it. Mayfield tweeted, "Very bright ball of light going straight down out of the sky. Maybe it was a plane. Maybe a bunch of people died and you just don't even know."
Or he was on drugs. I don't know.
And then Emily, on Twitter, it's Emily Wilkinson Mayfield. "I won't lie. I'm typically not someone who buys into UFO talk. But all I know is I saw something tonight that I have never seen, and I'm a little thrown off." On the heels of the Pentagon saying, we're fixing to blow your mind with some UFO stuff, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think they should they should do a reality show of Area 51.
Yes.
Just, and make it like MTV Cribs style.
Yeah.
And just go through and be like, yeah, here's the first alien that ever showed up. This is the one. These are the ones we're pretty sure built the pyramids over here. Blah, 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 blah. We know this because we found sand from the stones under the fingernails of the alien. And now the riddle is solved on how they made these things. You know,
I think you should host a
Dude,
show.
have you ever actually in depth watched the documentaries about the building of the pyramids? All right, I want to talk to you guys about Brickhouse Nutrition. I travel a lot these days. I do a lot these days, and so I don't hit the gym 2-3 times a day like I used to.
Yeah.
Right, like my 20s, man. Woo. I could have kept up with just about anybody. But these days, it's not that way. So, Field of Greens is what I use, and it's unlike most of the other superfoods out there because it uses real USDA organic fruits and vegetables. That's why the label says nutrition facts, not supplement facts, because it's real. Packed with antioxidants, Field of Greens can support heart health, metabolism, blood pressure, and digestion. Plus, it's pre and probiotic. It's great for everyone in your family, old, young, and even athletes. Making Field of Greens part of your daily routine is super simple. Just put 1 scoop in a glass of water, stir, and you're done. Go to brickhousegraham.com and get 15% off your first order with the promo code GRAHAM at checkout. That's brickhousegraham.com, promo code GRAHAM. This is the easiest and fastest way to start living a healthier life. It's also available in multiple flavors. brickhousegraham.com. That's brickhousegraham.com, promo code GRAHAM.
I've seen a few of them.
It's insanity. Like the rocks that they got, the stones weighed thousands upon thousands of pounds, right? And these people had wooden things with stone wheels, okay? And the rocks they got were hundreds of miles away from where the pyramids were actually built.
I think people were smarter back then.
It is insanity. No, it's not.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
It's the Anunnaki.
No, but this is what I'm trying to say. If you give me something that's 200 pounds and tell me I got to get it somewhere without a car, it's just staying there.
It ain't gonna be built.
It's not getting built. That's the way it is. Or I put it off on Alex or somebody to figure it out. But I mean, it's insanity, this stuff. And so, you sit there and you go, man, these people, and they've rebuilt the things they had back then. And it took these dudes literally days just to transport one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have better materials today. We can't even recreate how crappy they were back then. Because we can't even make it. We couldn't possibly make it as bad as it could have been back then if we tried.
Yeah.
And because today we have power tools to put it together and all this other kind of stuff. So no matter how primitive you try to make something, it is less primitive than it would have been back in the day. Anyway, it'll mess your mind up watching these documentaries and stuff, because you sit there and you start doing the math in your head and you're like, whoa.
All for one guy, so he can go to the afterlife.
Yeah. And then the way that they aligned them and all this other kind of stuff.
Crazy.
Some people truly believe that, that was just accidental. They just accidentally lined them things up.
They had some kind of divine information, whether it was from God or whether it was from aliens. It's impossible. We can't do it today, so they had something back then that we don't have today. And Elon says there's either a whole bunch of aliens or there's no aliens. And either way, it's pretty terrifying.
So there's some people that believe that we were an advanced society, and then something wiped us out, and then
AI.
we restarted again.
We perfected AI, and AI enslaved us and made us build the pyramids for them. And then the solar flare happened and killed the machines and started it over. Conspiracy Hour, Jake.
My God. You need to watch several movies.
National Treasure.
You could write, yes. Now that kind of stuff I believe. I'm sure. Why not, man? Why not? I could find some, man. And I apologize, folks. We haven't talked about any news, for real. But go with us this morning. I think that as well as I can talk, or lie, depending on who it is you ask. I think, man, I could have got away with a lot of stuff back then. Back in those days, before cameras and all this other kind of stuff. Dude, I think I could have been one of the most notorious. The good Lord knew what he was doing by not putting me in a generation that any of that stuff could have taken place. Anyway, okay. So, again, apparently aliens are real. Or either that. Okay, so look at it this way. Either aliens are real or our enemies have technology that they're just going to kill us all anyway because we have no idea what they are.
Yeah.
So it's one of two things.
So it's probably bad no matter what.
Yeah, either way, I don't find it to be good. You know, I really have a hard time believing that if there are aliens, that they have any intention on being our friends.
Not very impressed with us right now.
I mean, you know, look at us as humans. How nice are we to things that are stupider than us?
Yeah.
And yes, I know stupider is not a word.
Or
I
maybe
just like the word.
Maybe God made it impossible. You know, civilizations, if they do get to that point for intergalactic travel, there's either no purpose to it or they blow themselves up before they can do it. Like it's just that the lengths.
So they get so smart that they kill themselves?
Yes, with either nuclear weapons or they just decide like, why spend all that time going to that planet? Like when we have a planet here.
Yeah.
You know?
If there's a fire, I'm not going to get the dogs. I'm just being honest. And some people just went, what? But I'm for real. I've always been that guy. I'm not swerving into a ditch to miss a dog crossing the street. I won't speed up or anything. I'm not a psychopath. But I've always been that way. And I would like to think that if I'm that way, then for sure aliens are that way about us.
Yeah, and last thing I'll say, since I love aliens so much, if they can travel that distance, there's no need for them to come down and fly around on our planet. They can know everything they need to know floating outside of the planet.
It's like driving through my home state of Mississippi. You know it's there.
You don't need to stop in the store
but
to
very
know.
few people actually stop, to see what's going on. Yeah, I agree. Okay. All right. Moving on. Aliens are real. Anyway. Okay. So Biden, everybody's seen the clip around the world now of Biden falling on the stairs. And what I love the most is not the fact that this was obviously a senile, fragile old man that just can't walk upstairs. Some of the best memes I've seen is, I'd like to see Biden get my guns now. I've moved them upstairs. But my favorite thing is the actual response from the White House, and that is
The wind.
the wind knocked him over.
Yeah.
Do you know how strong wind has to be to knock a human being down?
Like, you'd be able to see it like flapping his clothes.
Do you have any idea? I have literally been standing in a Hurricane 1 force winds, didn't move one time. All right. Is he climbing the stairs in a Cat 5? Like, what are we, 180 mile an hour winds? At that point, you're not flying anyway. Why are you getting on the plane, Joe? Like, nobody's flying at that point.
They know the IQ level of apparently half the country. So
Again, do you realize how strong the wind has to be blowing to knock a person down? Unless you are a feeble, fragile old man that cannot stand up in the wind. And it wasn't the first stumble. Hey, we've all done it. I've stumbled going up the stairs a couple times. It was the second and then third stumble.
the third one just defeated stumble.
The third one was almost like, please, someone come help me. I'm just going to stand right here. And thankfully, he was cognitively aware enough. He's like, the cameras are on me. I got to get up. If that had been at home, he would have just sat there until somebody came.
He would
to
have
help.
pushed his life alert.
He would have pushed his life alert. Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh boy.
Anyway, again, and this comes on the heels of, we just talked about it last episode, Russia, North Korea, China thunderslapped America, and then the very next day, the president can't even freaking walk up the
Did you
steps,
see
man.
CNN's response to all that stuff?
What?
They were talking about how Biden is being powerful and how we were taking a strong stand, an aggressive stand. I'm like,
By not doing anything?
Yeah,
Aggressive
like-
fall.
I'm just like, no, like we got our butts handed to us by these countries.
And meanwhile, Putin's driving a tank, like with metal music playing. He's like, "Did you see that
in
video?"
Siberia?
Yeah.
Oh, that was epic.
These are the same people that claim that words have actions when they're talking about all these anti-Asian things because of the China virus or the coronavirus. Joe Biden's handler put out 0% chance Joe Biden actually even knows how to tweet. First of all, 0%, zero. This man doesn't even know what Twitter is. Okay. Somebody put, it's called the coronavirus, full stop.
Full stop.
That's what it says, full stop. Then that's a military term that people use to basically say I don't want to hear another word come out of your mouth, which Joe Biden was not. Either way, moving on. He's feeble, he's frail, and people that claim that words have meaning don't, I guess the words that these foreign tyrannical powers are saying have no meaning at all, I guess, is what I'm picking, the vibe I'm picking up there for sure.
Well, I mean, geez, he says, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. And everybody just went with that. Like, words don't matter anymore now that Trump's out.
Well, true. But also, so like the CCP is putting out propaganda now. They're selling merchandise with like the words that they said at that Alaskan conference. Like, America doesn't have the authority to speak from a position. Like, they're selling like graphic T-shirts now.
Wow.
Of that kind of stuff.
How they poison the world.
And they're also saying things like America China is saying this. Now, again, if you have not done just even the most basic search of China and what life is like in China, i.e. racism, find people that aren't Chinese in China. We'll wait.
Not very many.
Go ahead and find them, first of all. All right. So racism. Second of all, you want to talk about slavery, go to China. You want to talk about human rights violations, go to China. But China is now saying things in China through their Chinese Communist Party network and things like that, that America is so stemmed in racism and inequality that they don't have the moral authority to speak to us from a position of power. China said this. China is saying these things about America right now. And so, yes, we have a weak. This is the most non-transparent administration perhaps we've ever had since we've had like television. And even the 3-channel days had more transparency than we have now.
Did you see that they're not letting reporters go to the to the border?
Yes, but Project Veritas leaked all the photos today.
Oh, really?
Of what the have you guys not seen any of them?
I didn't see the photos.
They are astounding. Really? Some of these boxes have 400 people in them. Oh my God. All sleeping on the floor. They've all got like those thermal blankets. It looks like, astronauts use.
But then that would mean that Democrats don't care about illegals.
Oh, no, they do. And so we're fixing to talk about that. But if they were cages when Trump had it going on,
right?
Which this is the largest influx that the border has seen in 20 years. The Border Patrol is saying this is the largest influx in 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't as bad with Trump. And they claim Trump put kids in cages by using photos during the Obama administration. All right. That's the whole who built the cages, Joe thing and stuff like that. Anyway, but they're so overcrowded and they're so overpopulated that now ICE has inked a deal for $86.9 million to supply 1,239 beds in hotel rooms for these illegal immigrants. And what they're going to do is they're going to transport these people to hotels in Texas and in Arizona to house them in hotel rooms. So I did a little bit of math, right? And I did 86.9 million. And you have to assume that, each one of these rooms is going to be 2 beds in a room, right? So that's like 619 rooms, right? And then you divide 86.9 million divided by 180, which is 6 months, how long they say it's supposed to go.
Gotcha.
And that equals $804 per room. All right, I got a crash course in home title theft, and you better pray this never happens to you because it can ruin you financially. Here's how the crime happens. The legal title to your homes are kept online. That's right. This isn't the ancient days where it's kept in a vault. They're kept online where they can be hacked. A cyber thief finds your home's title, forges your signature on a quitclaim deed stating you sold your home to him or her. Then they take out loans against your home until your equity is gone. You won't know until the collection calls pour in. You're not protected by insurance, your bank, or common identity theft programs. Home Title Lock protects you And in the unlikely event you become a victim of title theft while a member, Home Title Lock will spend up to $250,000 in legal fees to help restore your home's title. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. Then use code RADIO for 30 free days of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Wow, we're putting them up in some
I ain't never stayed in a $800 room.
put them up in some nice places.
All right. Now the clause that they put in here is it says, and other necessary things. All right.
Oh.
But either way, the American taxpayer, and it also says in the deal that it can be extended. All right.
Sure.
So each room, I don't know how many people they're putting in there, nor honestly do I care. I'm sorry, that may sound mean, but I don't care. It's roughly costing us per room, per health care, per this, per that, $804 a day per room.
Dang.
The American taxpayers. Yet we don't have money to finish the wall. Oh, I read that Nancy Pelosi and them are allocating funds to reinforce and build barriers around the Capitol.
Oh, nice.
But we can't finish the wall at the border.
Walls are divisive.
We're putting more barriers up.
Well, this was temporary.
Oh, temporary.
Those were temporary barriers. No, they're talking about legit like no entry unless you're allowed to enter type stuff.
Aside from all the stuff happening in the Joe's cages and everything, everybody doesn't talk about the trip that all these young girls make, and about 90% of them are raped. So no one cares about that.
Well, they were saying that one of the places had 400 minor males in it. One of the spots, 400.
Yeah.
400 of them. Again, it goes to the point. A lot of people are putting contrast to the scandal that was the National Guard troops during the Capitol riots, and how you had National Guard troops sleeping on the the chamber floors and in garages, and reports have now come out that they were serving them undercooked food and all this stuff. They had just poor planning across the board, but yet we can allocate and figure out all these additional funds to handle these illegal immigrants. Look, here's the thing. This isn't social media, so we're allowed to say this. This is nothing more. The reason that Joe Biden doesn't care, the reason that Joe Biden is ignoring it, the reason that Joe Biden hasn't gone to visit, the reason that they wanted the media not there, and thank you, James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, for releasing the photos. The reason that they don't want that is because they don't want you to know that the actual point behind all of this is they want more voters. Okay?
Nothing to do with humans. Human life.
They want to turn Texas blue, so they're going to bring in as many freaking illegal voters as possible, flood it into Texas. All right? This is simply the way that it is. This is the truth. If we lose Texas, there will never be another Republican governor or president ever. So how do you do that? Well, you flood Texas with a bunch of illegals, and then they vote. They vote for the people that let them come in here. Well, a lot of them initially weren't even being required to get mandatory tests to come across the border for COVID-19. But yet, if you're an American and you're traveling, you got to get tested. China's sticking it up people's butts.
Dude, at this point, it's like I'm tempted to go to Mexico and come into America as an illegal. Like, my life would be better, apparently.
Just to test. We should do a video of you, not me, because I ain't flying, but you go to like London and then come back and show the process, and then we fly you to Mexico and then let you walk across the border. And then, well, no, we'll volunteer Noah for this.
There you
Noah, yes. Noah has got a job. He just doesn't know.
I don't know.
Yet.
I could probably pull it off if I grew the beard out and got a tan. I don't know if Noah could pull anything
No.
off.
I don't even think you have to pull it off as an illegal. I think you literally just
dress
as an
normal.
American, as an American, show the difference of trying to come through customs on a plane. Show how difficult it is. You got to get tested. You got to sit there for 30 minutes before you take off. Make sure you don't have it. The second you land in another country, you got to take a test, sit there, make sure you don't have it. Come back, test, sit there, make sure you don't have it. And then we'll send you to Mexico and just watch you just pop pop up and be like, "Yep,
Yeah.
I'm back."
Hey, I'll take a free $800 hotel room.
Hey, that's what I'm telling you.
and
Well, now to be fair, there's probably 15 people in that hotel room, but
True.
either way,
True.
Yeah, and I do empathize with a lot of the people coming because not all of them know the rules and how it works, and some of them are.
Jake,
trying
they
to
were
escape.
literally wearing Biden T-shirts.
No, I know. I didn't say all of them.
I mean, what are you talking
I didn't
about?
say all of them, but they're wearing Biden T-shirts because they're like, yeah, finally somebody who's going to just let us come in for no
My
reason.
question is, finish your thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that there's children there. They didn't do anything wrong, so it's very unfortunate that either their parents or their handlers drug them into that situation.
There's children everywhere that the children didn't do anything wrong.
No, for sure. I still think that once they're in that facility, we need to find a way to either find their parents or, it sucks when kids are involved. With the parents and adults, it's like, get out of
Who's
here.
handing the Biden T-shirts out? That's what I want to know.
The handlers who are handing out money.
Where are they getting these shirts? Because
George
these are like
Soros.
pristine, clean shirts.
Yeah.
These people have been walking through the desert for days, and they got like white as snow Biden T-shirts on. It's like people are standing there like handing them out
I think it's Soros.
like Oprah stuff. Well,
Soros is handing out cash.
when is he gonna
rides.
die? And
He won't.
I'm sorry, but that man is old. Like
Yeah.
when is this guy gonna die? Like of natural causes or not? Some people you're just like, dang man, like how are you still alive?
Yeah.
What's her name? Bette Midler. I love Bette Midler, but good God, how long can one person possibly live?
Well, when you have that kind of power, I mean, what was his name? One of the Rothschilds had 8 heart transplants.
Good Lord.
So when you have that kind of money and
Dude,
power, you don't die.
I'm telling you right now, and I know that if the good Lord sees me hit 75 or whatnot, I probably might feel different. But if I hit 75 and it comes to like, this is heart transplant number 3, I think I'm just going to call it what it is at that point and be like, well, so maybe this is, maybe it's time to go.
Yeah. And he jumped the line too. You don't just
course
get
he
8
did.
heart transplants.
Of course he did. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. He bought the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Bought all the hearts.
yeah, the board actually, he pays the board. Like, he's the one that writes their checks.
Yeah.
Anyway, how did we get on this? The point that I'm trying to say is that taxpayer-funded dollars are paying for illegal immigrants to come into the country. So, and there's a lot of people who are like, ooh, well, shouldn't we want to help people? No, actually, I don't think so. Send money to their countries and let them figure it out. Come through here the right way. And go through all the processes and wait. Sorry, this is America. These people didn't contribute in any way, shape, form, or fashion in the formation of America. They didn't contribute in any way, shape, form, or fashion with the daily structures of America. 98% of these people are not going to go on and pay taxes and contribute and all this other kind of stuff. The illegals, by the way. I'm not talking about the legal immigrants because legal immigrants are in the systems and they got to pay taxes. Anyway.
And we're all about legal immigration.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, as much as I hate to say it, but it's almost like it's such a, and we're having an open conversation here. It's such our rights, right? Like our rights, we have the right to vote, like we do. But then again, you've got so many people that just do not contribute to the society at all voting. And it's like, did you pay taxes last year? Because if you didn't, then shut up. Like you don't get to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. Like, and yes, I realize it can't be that way because freedom is freedom, right?
Slippery slope.
Yes, it's a very slippery slope. I'm not saying we should go down that way, but I see the agitation.
Right.
I really do. I mean, you got people that literally pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in taxes, and then you've got all these people that just don't pay taxes, period. And they have the same vote as the person who pays the taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I can see the frustrations, man, and getting into what we do now, owning businesses and stuff. I see so much more. Somebody told me that you'll never hate the government more until you become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then once you become an entrepreneur, you'll realize very quickly just how freaking stupid it all is, because
Corrupt.
And then you see $86.9 million to put illegals in hotel rooms. And then I just had a friend Well, a person I went to high school with, she literally was kicked off a Delta flight in Atlanta and stranded in Atlanta because her mask came down and they had to ask her more than two. Same thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
And they literally kicked her off the connection flight.
Wow.
And she lives in Columbus. And there's no flight but Delta that goes into Columbus. So she's banned for life on Delta. And they literally stranded her in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And this chick isn't like us. Like me, I would have just got a car and just took off. But a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't just rent a car. You know, $200 to most people is a big deal. And me, I'd have been like, watch how much money, watch this, watch. I'll be on Fox News tomorrow. Watch this.
Yeah.
But other people, I mean, this is really happening, man. You got illegal immigrants coming across the border that we're paying to put in hotel rooms, and yet you've got American citizens that are getting kicked off of American-owned flight or airplane or airline companies, stranded in a freaking city that they don't live in. Atlanta, on top of that, which is one of the more dangerous cities to be in, and that's an American taxpayer. All right, we're living in uncertain times, and millions have come to realize the importance of the Second Amendment. If you're looking for the perfect accessory to go with that perfect firearm, get an American-made holster from my friends at We the People Holsters. Starting at just $40, We the People Holsters are custom molded to fit your exact firearm. They have thousands of options, including an amazing selection of printed holsters. Their proprietary clip design allows for you to easily adjust both the cant and right of your holster so it's comfortable and secure at all times. Go to wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham, and while you're there, check out their everyday tactical gun belt, which comes paired with the patented Cobra buckle. Ooh. Every holster and gun belt comes with a lifetime guarantee. If it's not a perfect fit, send it back for a full refund. wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham. Get an additional $10 off with the offer code GRAHAM. That's wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham. wethepeopleholsters.com/Graham. Offer code Graham.
Yeah. And you're saying how 90% of the illegals won't pay taxes. Remember when you listed, I can't remember what article it was, but all the hundreds of things we pay taxes on, a death tax. It's like, why are we doing all that? Why are we sacrificing and paying all this money for the government when it's not, helping us out, when it's not fighting for us?
There are so many things that are so dumb. You can't, like the death tax, like you said, so you can work your whole life to own land and pay everything off. Like you pay nothing. Like the only thing you have to pay is taxes on it every year. Like, but there's no notes, there's no liens, there's no nothing. Your whole life, and you can leave it to your kids. And then somebody comes in and they evaluate the property, and then they put on a death tax on top of it. And if you can't afford the death tax, then you don't get that land.
Right.
And then also, if you own a home outright, and you rent the home, like say, like my Mississippi house, I've rented it the past 5-6 years, right? Okay. If I were to sell it, I would have to pay, I don't remember what it's called, but I would have to pay an exorbitant amount of taxes on it because I haven't lived in it 2 out of the past 5 years.
Yeah.
What kind of freaking sense does that make?
Well, even if you just own the house and you quit paying your property taxes on it, they'll come take your house from you.
Right.
It's like, wait, I own this house right here. It's mine. Yeah, but you got to pay the government to have that.
Yeah, the land that you bought and paid in full for, technically forever, you will always have to pay taxes on it, whether you own it or not. Anyway, but that's my point. If you really dive into it holistically, it just makes it like, and this is why I kind of live the way I live now, is that I can't take none of this crap with me anyway. So I might as well live life the way I want to live it. And I mean, once you get to the age or once you get sick and you're the point where you're going to die anyway, you don't freaking care if you got money in the bank or not.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, who the crap cares?
But even
man?
like the house situation, it's like, yes, I understand that sucks and it doesn't seem fair, but I am able to own my own house, have my own property, the American dream. It's like people want that dream, but they don't want the other stuff that comes with it, like the taxes and all this. That's the privilege of being American and having freedom. We got to pay taxes and we got to do crap like that. That sucks.
But again, I think because the entire time you're paying a mortgage on it, you're paying taxes too.
Yeah.
So how long do you have to pay taxes on a property before you actually own the property?
Never.
So what they're really saying is, no matter how, it's a false sense of security. You don't actually own it.
Right.
Never. You never actually.
But you get to act like you own
You
it.
never actually own anything. Anything. Even if you pay your vehicles off. If you don't pay the taxes on it every year to get a tag, guess what? They're going to take your vehicle away.
Right. Or it's just sitting there and you can't drive it.
Correct. And so you never actually own anything. Ever. And that's why I don't like the arguments of private businesses. Well, it's private businesses. There is no such thing as a private business because no business can actually do business on their own.
Yeah.
They actually need the help of all of these other things. We wouldn't be able to do a single thing if it wasn't for freaking Spectrum Internet coming in here and doing all our crap.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like nobody or freaking Duke Energy coming in here providing the power. No business actually is their own private business by themselves.
Yeah.
So personally, I think that's something that I don't think these social media companies, et cetera, should be able to do. I don't think that we should force people to do custom things, like, because people are going to be like, what about the cake guy? That cake guy didn't deny those people buying cakes from the place.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm not going to make a special cake because it goes against my religion. See what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, there's a difference. I literally have all these cakes already made right here that you can pick from. Pick. Well, that's not good enough. We want a special gay cake. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, let's call it what it is. They wanted a gay cake. If it wasn't a gay cake, he probably wouldn't have had a problem making it.
Right.
Right? So, but I don't believe businesses should be able to exclude anyone from purchasing the products that they have.
See, I'm kind of different on that. Because,
Okay, go with it.
Because I think I'm not for it. I don't think it's a good thing to exclude people, but when you do, you show your true colors, right? And people are able to see the actual person that runs that business, right? So if you don't like black people and you make a cake shop that says, I don't serve black people, you're not going to have very much business, and you're probably going to get some windows busted out. So it's like your freedom of speech. I don't think you should not serve black people. I'm just saying, if a guy doesn't want to do it, he's going to be canceled and out of business anyways by the free market working.
Here is the biggest thing. You got to remove emotions out of it.
Yeah.
Okay? We as free Americans are not allowed to do something that impedes upon the freedom and the rights of other Americans. Okay? So that's why I think big tech loses all day, every day. Because we have a right to free speech. We have a right to say what we want to say as long as it doesn't incite violence or harm to another individual. And why is that? Because that actually impedes against their rights and freedoms as an American.
Yeah.
Okay? You have a right as an American to be able to go into a store and purchase goods from a store. Okay. You don't have a right necessarily to have a specific cake made and demand another person go against their religious freedoms just because you want them to. It's not the only bakery in town. You see what I'm saying? Like, if that was the only cake store in America,
Right.
we might have another conversation, maybe.
Or if he was a custom cake place, like all he did was custom cakes.
Well, every cake place is a cake place, but they also do custom. Every cake place is that. Happy birthday, Ken, or whatever. Every cake place is a custom cake place. All right, especially a wedding cake place.
Yeah.
Every wedding cake place.
No, it just says Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But we as free Americans are not allowed to do things that impede upon the freedom of another American. Okay. Every business has the right to refuse service. They do. Now, it obviously causes a stink, but every business has the right to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Every contract I sign, even if I do everything right, the other business that I'm in business with has the right to cut my contract off whenever they want. Okay? Here in South Carolina, it's an at-will state.
Yeah.
Okay? I have the right, even if you got, and this is not me like,
Here we go.
giving a hint, but I have the right, even if you guys do everything your job title is supposed to do, I have the right to say, you pissed me off the other day.
See ya.
Bye. This is an at-will state.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, the airlines are doing it too. They're able to kick people off whenever they feel like it.
Exactly right. And so where is the actual line, right? You can't pull the private business because there is no real private business. Okay, airplanes don't fly very well without fuel. Most airlines don't make their own fuel. All right, you see what I'm saying? They're getting it from somewhere. Most airlines don't make their own Doppler radar systems. They get that from another business. And you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Facebook ain't Facebook without the internet, cell towers, internet towers, electrical servers, power grids.
All of our content. I mean, all of our content is.
What is Facebook without people posting on Facebook?
Yeah.
Literally, the very existence of it depends on other people interacting. Same thing with 912. All right. The very purpose of it is we can make all the t-shirts in the world. If we didn't need people to actually buy the shirts, then maybe we could be our own private business that's not dependent on anybody. We're making these shirts for free, and by God, everybody gets it. And we've got George Soros backing us. Anyway, the point is, all right, there is no real private business. It is a false illusion, just like paying off your mortgage and now you own your home and your property. Not really. No, you don't. Not really. Technically, the government has say-so over that for forever. Until you die. And then if your children can't afford it, then it goes back to the government and then they'll sell it to somebody else. And the system repeats itself.
So that's part of the frustration with illegals coming over and just getting everything.
And just getting everything. Because and like I said, so much of this you don't realize, or you do realize it, but it just doesn't affect you when you're not a business owner, et cetera, or a landowner, or, you pay off your house and things like that. You don't realize these things. And then a lot of people also don't realize how many people, like this new tax hike. This is going to be the biggest tax hike in like 31 years. And Biden swore that it would be 400,000 or more. And now the White House is kind of correcting. They'll be like, well, there's probably going to be some 200,000 in there too.
Maybe a 60.
Yeah. What that means is everyone who makes $200,000 is going to be taxed. That's what that means. And a lot of people are like, well, people who make $200,000 a year
can't afford
it. But what you don't realize, morons, is if you make $200,000 a year, guess what? You're paying about 40, 50 grand in taxes already. So that 200 is really about 150, 140.
Yeah.
And then depending on where you live, it really ain't that much money.
Right.
And so that's the point. How are people supposed to save? How are people supposed to do this? People that have to pay for their own health care. If you're making 200 grand a year, guess what? You're paying the highest level of freaking health care there is. I pay 50 grand a year for health insurance. Dang. Just for myself and my family. 50 grand a year. Just for health insurance. That's not deductibles. That's that's just to have it.
Dang.
To where we could go 50 grand a year. Why? Because I'm in a higher tax bracket now.
Yeah.
Those is the rules. Okay. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. To be blunt, if you get a tax return, shut up. And I'm not trying to be mean or aggressive here. You don't understand.
Right.
Like you just don't. 200 grand before taxes is not really 200 grand. It's like, oh, I made $1 million last year. You didn't keep $1 million. I promise. If you want to be a millionaire, you got to make $2 million.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Because the government's they are going to, I hate to say this word, molest you over the money that you make. And so again, when it comes to situations like this, I get kind of annoyed in this situation because it's almost like, man, if you get a tax return, it's because you need it. And I'm not saying you don't need it, of course. But as far as not seeing what the big deal of lowering it from 400 to 200 is.
Yeah.
That's a gigantic deal. That goes from, which again, 400,000 is not the top tier elite of individuals either.
Right.
But that takes it from freaking, I mean, those are doctors. You know what I'm saying? Like doctors make 220, 250 grand a year, you know? Surgeons make a lot more than that. I mean, you know, these are more normal, everyday people than you think that they, you know.
And what that's going to encourage is people to leave like they did during Obama. It's like, all right, well, I'll go to a different country and practice and make a whole bunch more money.
Well, think of it like this, where you work. Where you work, your CEO or your owner may only be paying himself 200 grand a year.
Yeah.
Or herself. But if they get taxed more on it, then guess what that means? That means they're going to have less money for your job.
Yeah.
See, people don't realize the trickle-down effect of all this stuff. If you start taxing, and I know people hate the rich, you know, I know
I don't
that.
get it.
But if you start overly taxing the people with all the money that create all the jobs, that create all the this and that and the demand, it's just going to mean less jobs because they're like, well, I got to save more of it myself because I'm fixing to get the balls
Going to the
taxed out
Cayman
of it.
Islands.
Yeah. I mean, why not? You know, the whole purpose of hiring people is so they can help you replicate what you do to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
But if by making more money you get taxed more, then what's the purpose of hiring people?
Kills innovation.
You might
too.
as well keep it at this level.
Right.
It's like the difference between being a $10 million company versus a $50 million company. A $10 million company in some instances may be almost just as profitable as a $50 million company at the end of the year because of all the extra crap that comes along with that jump between 10 to 50 million a year, right? You start adding excess taxes on that, then companies will be like, well, we're just going to stay at 10. We're going to put it on autopilot, man.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
But people don't realize that. People don't understand. This is why I have so much trouble with people that are congressmen and governors and all this stuff that have never owned businesses, have never done anything. Oh, well, they're a lawyer or a doctor. Whoop-de freaking do.
Yeah.
You worked for somebody else. You worked for a law firm. They were the actual bosses. Or you worked for a hospital. They were the actual bosses. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. We need people that actually understand. Like, hey, if we put this tax here, then it's actually really going to hurt jobs. And it's actually really going to hurt more Americans than anything else. Just not even just on incentive to make more money to create more demand, but just drive and ambition alone. Mm-hmm. You know, like, why?
Why try?
Why try? Can you imagine the doctors that are going to come out if tuition becomes free? You have to want to be a doctor to take on all that debt and to go through all that school. But imagine the people who are going to roll up in there. Mm-hmm. Did you know that Clemson? Did you know Clemson during the COVID-19 removed the ACT requirement?
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
that's awesome.
They did. Huh. No ACT requirement this past year to get accepted.
BS, anyways, in my opinion.
Well, yes, and yes. I mean, we can have the argument about ACT. I tested terribly on the ACT.
I hated those tests.
But I would say I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I would say that I'm smarter than a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But I did not do well on that ACT. It could also be argued if you read my first book, I had a lot of things going on during that time.
My
bad. But either way, you know, yes, I'm not a big tester, like, you know, and I think that to judge people about it, of course, the Daniel Tosh argument is, oh, I'm sorry. You know, you're a real Einstein until that part where we try to figure out what you know, and then all of a sudden
you don't know anything.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm Picasso, but when pen hits paper, I get nervous. And so there's this for that, right? I know some super high testers that are the dumbest human beings on the face of the planet. I mean, these people are the dumbest of the dumb. I mean, the most awkward, stupid individuals that you've ever met in your life. okay, there's a traffic jam on the left. Should you go left or should you go right? And they will go left because
It'll probably clear up.
Because that's the way the GPS says to go. It's like Michael Scott. They're like,
Yeah.
this is a lake here.
There's
no,
not a road here.
It knows. It knows. That's these people.
God,
there it is. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, but that's the point. Is I don't know. I don't even know how we got on this. I'm
We're talking
sorry.
about Clemson.
I'm sorry, everybody.
doctors.
Start off with taxes.
This is one of these kind of we have gone from UFOs to Biden to disrespected by other countries
Soros.
to George Soros to taxes to Clemson University removing the ACT for admission.
Boom.
We have truly gone across the board. Now all we have to do is fundamentally ask ourselves: are we allowed to be unicorns? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Why
Absolutely.
not? And I identify as one. I swear to the Lord above, I have legitimately thought about this. And yes, it's for content purposes. But I have legitimately thought about this year when the IRS sends me my bill, I'm just going to put an IOU in the thing and send it to them.
Nice.
And in there, identify as being paid and just send it.
Nice.
Just to see what happens, just to see what happens. Because I almost feel like they would call me like directly. And be like, did you know that you put an IOU in here kind of thing? And I'm like, yep, I sure did. But you have to pay these taxes. Well, good news, Doc. I identify as someone who has paid taxes.
Or they identify.
Yeah.
Good news, Doc. They identify.
Yeah, he, him, identify as someone who pays taxes. Same thing for vehicles. You didn't pay your car note. That's so weird because in my mind I identified that I did.
Yeah.
So who are you to tell me that I did not do that? And
I'm
people
also a 75-year-old woman.
yeah. Where's my senior citizen tag? That's what is age at this point? And people are like, "Oh, Graham, that's so ridiculous." Is it? We got biological men playing sports, just thunder kicking women right now. I mean, just across the board, it's real bad. Anyway, the point is, this is the world we live in,
What
man.
they wanted.
This is the world we live in. You're sitting at home, not having a job. Illegal immigrants are coming across and getting put in hotel rooms, being fed. I mean, this is why some people go back to jail. I know, I'm serious.
for real.
No,
I
this is
mean-
a real thing. Like some people are in jail for like 10 years and they get out and they're like, oh crap. You
Yeah.
mean I got to feed myself and work? Oh, heck no. I'm going to go steal this car real quick.
Right.
It's like that dude in Florida. Literally served 12 years for carjacking. He gets released and in the very parking lot of the jail steals a car. And
Couldn't resist.
goes right back to jail. No, it wasn't he couldn't resist. That man didn't want to be out.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like the jail system is now even designed for you. And obviously we're talking about like the not the high security prisons, right?
Right.
Like obviously the those people ain't getting out no way. All right. We're talking about the blue collar crimes, tax evasion, stuff like that. Like they don't put them in the same general population
Prison. Yeah.
as the mass murderers. But those people end up getting in situations where they're like, man, I'm working on my doctorate right now. Okay, and anyway, it is what it is. I think that there are so many things that are messed up. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that prison isn't bad. I've actually been in a lot of them and spent a lot of time in the prisons. They're horrible. Don't get me wrong. However, we're not generating prisons as ways to incentivize people to want to leave
Yeah.
for long periods of time. Okay. What we're doing is prisons are now at a point where you have people mentally, you're not preparing them, right? Physically, it may suck, right? And, they got to go through the routines and all this. But the truth, anyway, I'm going to quit talking because I'll say something. People are like, how do you know? Have you ever been in prison? No, because I didn't break the law. Anyway.
Well, just to close out my thoughts, all of this kind of comes down to people want good experiences without going through the bad experiences. And wanting to be happy is in itself a bad experience because you're never you're going to always be wanting that. So until you sacrifice, it's how you work through the bad part to get to the good part.
Well,
So-
we're also not guaranteed happiness,
right.
you know, and that's the biggest thing.
Pursuit.
The pursuit, man. The pursuit of happiness. Man, the founding fathers are so smart. And you want to know why? Because they believed in the truth, not a truth or your truth or the Oprah truth or whatever. And they knew, like you're never really gonna achieve happiness. What's that Matthew McConaughey speech where he's like, the third thing is that person I'm chasing. You know, he said he's got a buddy. He's like, hey man, you know, you achieved your dream. He's like, you know, who's your idol or whatever. And he says, well, it's me in 10 years.
Yeah.
And he said he comes back to him 10 years later. He's like, well, did you achieve your dream? He goes, no, man, not even close. That's me in 10 more years.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get it and I'm never going to achieve it, but it gives me something to look forward to.
Right.
You're never going to really achieve true happiness until this is all over, man. You know, if you're a Christian, if you believe that, you know, you ain't never really going to be truly happy till the end, right? There's no more pain. There's no more suffering. There's no more this. There's more of that.
No matter how much free stuff you get.
No matter how much free stuff you get, and those $800 hotel rooms are not going to get it. Okay. But that's how we've brought this new generation up, man, is to believe that happiness is achievable through
The government.
the government.
That's
So,
depressing.
I mean, literally, there's a quote. I don't know who said it, but it's like the scariest thing is, you know, hi, we're from the government. We're here to help. And then Joe Biden in his first speech said, help is here.
It's on the way.
Yeah, no. He literally said, help is here. He didn't say we're the government, help is here, but he was like, rest assured, Americans, help is here. It's the same thing.
It really is.
The government is here to help you. Don't you worry about it. You should be running in total and complete fear for your lives. That's all I got. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot more than that. This turned into a really long conversation over two things. I
liked it.
I had two things
It's
coming
fun.
into this episode. That's all we got, guys. Be sure to check out 912 United.
Yeah.
Your support there helps us continue to do everything here. And make sure to check out GrahamAllen.com, where we bring you the articles that the mainstream media doesn't want you to see. That's all we have for this episode of this podcast. And we'll see you again next time.
See ya.